Hello. We had a meeting with Pastor Jeff a few years ago, shortly after we attended one of the GPS workshops. And as we got acquainted with Jeff in this meeting and talked about getting involved in the church, one of the things we shared with him was a ministry that we started at our former church. It's called Feed Your Soul. And in a nutshell, this is a way to foster relationships with people in the community for the purpose of sharing the gospel. And serving a free weekly meal is the means for doing this. So we've been at this for about 14 years now, and we average about 100 to 125 meals each week.
Food is important. Food brings people together. Did you know that in ancient Israel, to eat a meal together was a sign of friendship and relationships? It's one of the reasons the Pharisees were so horrified that Jesus ate with tax collectors and prostitutes. It carried the social meaning of friendship with outcasts and sinners.
So, back to our chat with Pastor Jeff. Right away, as you can imagine, his ears perked up. He was interested in Feed Your Soul and asked if we thought we could start a similar ministry at Faith. Well, Rick's response immediately was, of course. Mine, I'm not so sure. But God equips every believer with the gifts necessary to carry out his work. And sometimes that mission work takes people far away. But more often, it seems, is local, right here at home. Serving as local missionaries here in Janesville. And so, here we are with a plan for a kitchen as part of Phase 5 and a plan to start Feed Your Soul here at Faith.
Pastor Jeff preached a couple of months ago about sowing seeds. Sowing them everywhere. Not just where there's some promising sign that the message would be welcome. Feed Your Soul is a way to do just exactly that. As we invite people from our city into our church for a free meal, we have the opportunity to sow seeds of gospel truth with people we probably would never meet otherwise. A free meal opens the door for sowing seeds and for building relationships.
So, talking about relationships, there's two things that we know from our experience operating this ministry in Fort. Number one is it's essential to build relationships. And number two, this is the hardest part about Feed Your Soul. Now why? Because relationships take time. It takes investing in people, listening to people. It means being available. It means having a real interest in understanding what's going on in people's lives. It means praying with people and for people. And sometimes it's just about being practical. People need rides or they need to have a meal dropped off when they can't get by to the church. So it means putting yourself out there. It's a commitment.
One of the things that has taken us some time to recognize is that people have all kinds of needs. In local ministry work like this, work that involves free food, I think it's really easy to only think about the financial need. But what we have learned about Feed Your Soul, especially in the last 2 years, is that there's all kind of need, not just financial needs. We absolutely serve a whole lot of low-income folks, that's for sure. No question about it. But that's not all. We serve many people with various disabilities. We serve people who simply need a break from a single parenting. A prepared meal for a single parent that really doesn't have to make it is a real blessing. We serve people who are unemployed and people who are employed. We serve people who live in hotels, and mostly we serve people who have no idea who Jesus is and no idea how desperately they need him.
Another thing that has taken us some time to recognize is that this ministry is not only about reaching people that we feed, but also witnessing to those who volunteer. So in Fort, we have all kinds of groups who volunteer. We have the high school baseball team, the Rotary Club, and other civic organizations. We have a few businesses that help. We have 4-H clubs. We have Boy Scouts. In addition to many church groups and even some individual families. And a lot of these folks, most of them too, need to hear the gospel.
Feed Your Soul meets the physical needs for food. At the same time, it creates the opportunity for ministering to the spiritual needs. Jen and I are really excited to see how the Lord will use all of us as local missionaries to draw souls to Himself at faith. Thank you.